Mistakes, mistakes, failure, and mistakes. The biggest fear for entrepreneurs and people in general, but also our biggest building points, right? The biggest learning experiences is when we F up. So for the first time ever, I am going to show all the products that I have launched that have failed for my Amazon business. At this point, it feels like I've launched a zillion products and I've been highly profitable. But these 4 products in particular were not. All right, so let's get into it. I'm gonna show you the product. I'm gonna show you what went wrong and how you can avoid that so that you do not lose money on your Amazon products. So let's get right into it. We're in Amazon now. So I don't even know if this one still exists. So this is actually NSFW, not safe for work. It's a little explicit here. Same penis forever banner. I remember I had this on my whiteboard one day and my grandma walked in and was like, "What is that?" on my shoulder, and then it didn't help the situation. But this is it. This is the same penis forever banner. This is like a bridal shower thing. You know, you're getting married or bachelorette party, I guess, not bridal shower, a bachelorette party thing. And this is the first product I ever launched in my life. This is the first product. I'm like, yo, this is great. It's light, it's cheap, it's literally made of paper, right? And it was selling like hotcakes. Now, a few things that I did not know. Let's see actually if there's any sponsored. Okay, so you'll notice right now there are no sponsored for this item, right? And the 2 main things that happened that went wrong with this, and I'll take this off the screen so you can, you don't have to hide your screen if you're at work. But the 2 things that happened here is that number 1, it was seasonal. So weddings are happening in summer. I was looking at that product in summer, and then when the product finally arrived, it was no longer summer, so the demand was not there anymore because the weddings slowed down, right? The wedding season was over. And the second thing, the reason I was looking for sponsored was because what happened was I thought it was an arts and crafts category, but when it arrived in Amazon, they deemed it as an adult product, and you can't run PPC for adult products. So there was no more demand for this product, and I couldn't get any traction because I couldn't run PPC. I tried a few giveaways, but I lost money on that. And plus, you can't really do giveaways on something like that because it's not an item that many people are going to be taking, right? It's very niche, it's very specific. So if you're running a viral launch to it, you're not getting all the coupons, you're not getting claimed. And I was burning money on that, and that was where I failed. So the 2 lessons on that: make sure you're on Google Trends and you're looking to see if your product is seasonal. I didn't even think about that at the time when I launched my first product, right? So I didn't look. So make sure you know if the item is seasonal. Make sure you know if there's any restrictions on your item, the category it's going to be in, if there's any specifics that you're getting to know before you launch your product. So all in all, that product was a complete failure. I made no money on it. I literally burned it and I lost money. But luckily for me, it was cheap. It was only, I think, $800 to $1,200 all in to get that product. So that was my first product, my first loss, my first failure, my first failure on Amazon. But again, it was a learning experience. All right, so that was the first one. All right, so that's the lesson for that one. The next one, all right, so this one is the floating shelf bracket. All right, floating shelf bracket. This one wasn't really a failure. I made my money back on this product, but there's a few key mistakes here where this could have been way better. So I'm gonna find exactly what it looked like. All right, so it was this one right here. It's basically what it was. It was a super heavy item, but there was a huge demand for it. No one was selling it. Like if you go back here, it's probably still a similar situation. Yeah, so you see most of these floating brackets are like these pegs, right? So they're pegs, 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 and then you have this one. So this is what I was selling, and it was doing really, really well. Now, this is where I made my mistake. So I checked it out. It wasn't seasonal. It was all good. This was not, I don't think this was my second product, but there's a few products in. It was all looking good. It was a little heavy. I had to custom make this because I couldn't find a supplier that had it. So they had to custom make it for me. And then what happened was my big mistake with this one where I really lost traction. I really lost money, and I really decided, you know what, it's not worth it for me anymore, is I stole images. Right? So I took images like this. I didn't take my own pictures because, again, the supplier had to custom make it. So that's where the problem came in. The supplier custom made it, and it was super heavy. So what that means is that it was super heavy. So to get a sample to my house was like $300 or something ridiculous. So I didn't want to get a sample. And the supplier didn't have any pre-done professional pictures for this product, right? Because it was the first time they've ever made it. So what they did was they took pictures on their phone, they sent it to me, and they're like, that's the best we can do. So I'm like, those are crap, they look like garbage. So I took one of these pictures and I used them, right? So what I did was, I think there's like a logo here in the very middle. Okay, so you can see there's like a www engraved in there, right? So I photoshopped that out, and then I put some statistics here, like the width across and whatever. I did a little bit of Photoshop trickery. But what happened was he found out, and then he sent it into Amazon, and they removed my pictures because of copyright, because I was using his images, and then I had to back. So what happened was, it was copyright, and what happens then is that it needs approval for the person that sent in the copyright. So if this is the guy that sent in the copyright, say you're using my images, and I say, hey, send it in Amazon, you can't use my images anymore. What happens is, when you submit new images, you have to come back and I have to approve it. So the one that's striking the copyright has to approve if the images are able to go back up, and it was back and forth, and then I never was able to get a sample. I was never able to get good pictures of my own, so I photoshopped it even more, and it was a big ordeal, and it was, the listing was taken down, went back up, taken down, went back up over a long period of time. I finally sold out of inventory, and I made my money back, but it was a big mistake just because of one simple mistake. I didn't get images. Right? I didn't want to bite the cost of getting a sample to get my own pictures done, and that really, in the long run, cost me. This product, when I started, was having great traction. I could have maybe been in the wall bracket niche, right? Who knows? But it didn't work out because I made a simple mistake, because I was trying to rush the process. I didn't want to take the micro steps that were needed to get it done. I didn't want to, dot all the I's and cross all the T's. I wanted to just get the product up and rush it. So that's the lesson. Do not steal images. It will hurt you. And then even if it doesn't, in the long run, it probably will bite you in the butt. So get your images done professionally, get a sample, get the supplier to do it, or use an image service like ViralLaunch, right? If you want to use a ViralLaunch image service, description, there's a link. All right, so that's the second one. Now the next product, what we got here? All right, now this is the same, I think this is the same actually thing, with flame bulb. All right. So what happened here was kind of the same thing as the banner, right? So the banner, it was seasonal, so wedding season. Every season though, right? So every summer, they probably shoot up all the time. Now what happened with the flame bulb, it was this product. You can see they're all the same. There's no way to differentiate this product. So that was mistake number one, okay? So I came into market with basically the same product because there's basically no way to change it. It is a light bulb that looks like fire. That's that, it's simple, right? Oh, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that one before. But that's it. The killer, the dagger, was what killed me here. You'll see is not seasonal. It was a straight up fad, right? So this was like a fidget spinner. All right, so there's the flame bulb. That's what it looks like on Trends. Can you guess when I ordered this product? It was like right over here, right? So it was a super duper fad. I ordered it here. At the time, I did check Trends. I'm like, oh, it's trending up, right? It looks great, it's trending up, and it doesn't look seasonal because it wasn't a spike that was like, consistent every year. It was like, okay, this is actually getting hot, no pun intended, getting hot. But what happened was, again, no way to differentiate. It was literally you come in with a 1-pack or a 2-pack, and then the fad died down, and I didn't sell it, or I didn't sell many of them, and then I burned the inventory, right? So that was that. Flame bulb, dead. Next, last one I got to show you. This one was like the biggest embarrassment ever. So what's this called? Fireproof. All right, so the fireproof bag. This was a really good potential product, right? The numbers were great, but again, I shortcutted it, right? So at the beginning stages, when I was in like the first 6 months of me being an Amazon seller, I really was just trying to I had money. I was like, let's go. I want to invest it all. I want to get going. I want to get the ball rolling really quickly. So what happened was I rushed this process immensely. When I started, I launched 3 products at the same time. One of them was that banner, and one of them was this one. And again, just a simple mistake. I didn't see it. I didn't see the product when it was done. So when the product was done and made, I didn't ask the supplier for a picture. I didn't get a sample. So again, common theme here: get a sample, right? Get your own pictures done. So what I did was I used the supplier's images, right? So their images of the product for their listing on Alibaba. Again, I photoshopped my logo on it the way I told them to print it on it, right? But what happened was I thought I was getting one of these bags, So you'll see the bag, see how it's like a vertical bag? Like it's a long bag? Like, okay, here's great. So this is a long bag here. It's like a tall bag, right? That's what I thought I was getting. So that's what the images I used for my listing. But what the supplier produced was one of these. It was one of these like a suitcase kind of bag, right? So it was like a horizontal bag, but my listing had vertical bags. So you can imagine the reviews that I got. Like my product was not the same as the picture. So I was getting so many negative reviews, I literally turned off the listing and I deleted it and I liquidated the product, right? So the fireproof bag, I burned it. Again, hilarious, right? So that is that. So you can imagine the reviews, right? Just negative review after negative review. I got the wrong product, not as advertised. So at that point, I was already like, I had like like pretty much half a star, right? And I had like 10 reviews that were saying that. So at the point, I was like, whatever, screw it. And I stopped it. I stopped the listing. I liquidated the product and I just burned it, right? So I burned that money. It's not as fireproof as I thought it would be, right? So that was gone. So again, simple mistake. Not checking, not double checking, not doing your due diligence. So let's recap here, because as you'll see, a lot of the mistakes I made that cost me, I probably lost $7,000 on these 4 products together. $7,000 USD gone, evaporated, right? Because of simple mistakes. It's never like something complicated, something where it's like, oh, there's no way I would have thought about that. It's always something that's like, it was right there in front of your face, you just didn't do it, and that's what hurts you, right? So the first one, it was a trendy product and it was classified as an adult product. And I didn't check on either of those, right? So trends, and make sure you know what's restricted, what's your categorization, and if there's anything you need to work around or hoops you need to jump through to make sure that goes smoothly, right? The next one was the floating shelf bracket. So it was a heavy item and I didn't want to get a sample, right? So again, I was cutting a corner. No, don't cut corners, right? I didn't want to get a sample, and then I stole an image from someone else. I tried to Photoshop it, didn't work, and then I went through copyright battles for that. So again, simple mistake. The next one was the fire bulb. This was no way to differentiate the product, 0 way to differentiate the product. It is what it is. And then it was a fad, right? It was something like a fidget spinner where it had super high demand. It was probably like featured in something, and everyone wanted that cool like Game of Thrones looking, man cave with the fire bulbs, and then it died off. Right? So that was that. And then this fireproof bag, this was the worst one because it was so simple. I did not check to see what the manufacturer actually made for me. I just trusted them, like sent them the logo. That's that. It's printed on, get it to Amazon, and make the money. But that's not what happened, right? So make sure you're not making these simple mistakes. As you can see, I had to go through this trial and error process to figure all of this out. But you don't have to do that because I laid it out for you, right? Only fools learn from experience. I would rather profit from other people's experience. So that's what you get to do here in this video, profit from my experience. That's what you get to do in this channel by watching all the videos that I've put out. And also, if you want, go ahead, make sure to join the free masterclass that I'm hosting where I go really deep into Amazon, the tips and the tricks that have allowed me to build my Amazon business up so fast. Just do that by clicking that link right there. Or if you want another video, click that link right over there. I might be wrong, might be on this side, but one of those sides, right? So masterclass, bottom corner, new video, top corner. That's it for this one. I'm JT Franco, and I'll see you in the next one.